Hello. I thought I would be here to talk about the Scott Baio being accused of sexual abuse by his former Charles in Charge co-star Nicole Eggert. Now I'm gonna say I'm not gonna throw judgment on each party because it sort of becomes this he said she said sort of thing. Until I will throw judgment until one party admits their guilt. But so far that doesn't seem to be happening. Now I watched Charles in Charge a couple of times when I was a kid. I had a little bit of a crush on Nicole Eggert. Name me what teenage boy didn't have a crush on Nicole Eggert. And Scott Baio was definitely a heartthrob of that time. Yeah, he was a womanizer, and he admits this. And he did not want to be that guy anymore, so that's why he decided to settle down and have a family. He is happily married with a daughter now. And I would have believed Nicole that Scott Baio sexually abused her because, given his reputation at that time, but then Scott made a video, 16-minute long video, saying that her claims are false and claimed he had evidence to support it. Kind of makes you question who is lying and who's not. Now, if I can understand if at the time Nicole Eggert was a teenager when she started on Charles in Charge, and she was in that stage of discovering the opposite sex and dating and all that stuff, and probably eagerly wanted a boyfriend. And the fact that this older, handsome guy would be interested in her would be quite fun. I mean, at the time, he didn't think much of it at the time. I mean, he didn't think it was anything wrong. Until years later, then it hits you like, oh no, I was duped and all that stuff. Yeah, it's a sad. I mean, you saw the movie Trust about how a teenage girl was easily manipulated by a seemingly older guy. Kind of the same thing. I heard he flirted with her. She said he flirted with her on set a lot and all that stuff. But Scott's claims were a little different. I mean, he claims he was never alone with her on set. The families of the co-stars were always on set constantly. Even the teachers of the teenage actors. I mean, they were in school and for a good part of when they weren't filming. So Scott felt there was no chance he could have been all flirty with her on camera. Although two other co-stars, Adam Carl, who was a young actor at the time, and he only guest starred on one episode of Charles in Charge, kind of supports Nicole Eggert's claims that Scott was a little touchy-feely with her, and so does Alexander Polinsky, who played the younger brother Adam. Also supports her claims too that Scott Baio was touchy-feely. Now, maybe I'm reading too much into this, but okay, before I get into that, I'm just saying that Alexander Polinsky said that Scott Baio verbally abused him a lot of times during the filming of Charles in Charge. Now, maybe I'm reading too much into this, but then I see a photo of Alexander Polinsky at Scott Baio's 50th birthday party. And maybe, I don't know, but if you despise this man, if you loathe his very presence, why would you go to his 50th birthday party? And if he verbally abused you and despised you, why would he invite you to his... Why would he even invite you? Maybe there's more to it than that, but that's just... I'm seeing it a little differently on that part. She said, Nicole Eggert said that Scott, they had intercourse when she was 17. Scott claims that they did have intercourse, but it was she was already in adulthood years, and I think she was 18 or pushing 19. That's pretty much adult years in a woman. And Charles in Charge had already ended by that time. And he also says that if I did these things, horrible things, why didn't she go to the police? Why did she go to social media? That's a good... He made a very valid point there. And she only decides to file a police report after he says that in his video. Something to think about. Then again, I'm not throwing judgment. I'm just stating a few things. And it's also incredible how 3 other co-stars from Charles in Charge, Sandra Kearns, who played the mother, Willie Ames, who played the lovable, whimsical Buddy Lembeck, and Josie Davis, who played the plain Jane Sarah Powell on the show, haven't made any statement about any of this. I mean, they haven't come forward. I mean, well, 2 reasons on that. Maybe these events didn't happen, or there's definitely an or. Maybe they were never a witness to any of these events that Nicole Eggert describes what Scott Baio did. Scott Baio believes it's because he's a Trump supporter. Yeah, I mean, that could be. I mean, a lot of Trump supporters, people who support Donald Trump, are easily bashed by the media. And Scott Baio's comments about Erin Moran when she passed away, I mean, assuming that he thought she died of a drug overdose when in actuality she died of brain cancer. Scott admitted his errors in that comment and said he made a terrible mistake. Said he'll always have a great love for Erin. She was like his first real girlfriend. But to the day, I'm not going to say who's guilty and who's not. I mean, because until the day someone confesses that, if one of the parties confesses their guilt of the situation, and then more will get thrown out there. But I'm going to say this. If it did happen, and you really did these things, Scott Baio, you are a scumbag of the earth, taking advantage of a teenage girl like that. And Nicole Eggert, I am deeply sorry you went through that. But if it didn't happen, Nicole Eggert, you're a pathological liar. And Scott Baio, I'm sorry for what this put you and your family through. Okay? Bye-bye.